In the village of Balobedu, the sky was silent. It hadn't rained in 3 years. Children cried, cattle fell where they stood, and the Limpopo cracked underfoot like old bones. Then on the night of the blood moon, the chief Mugodo called the elders. He was concerned. "Let the drums speak," he ordered. The diviners cast bones under the marula tree, and the bones told a truth darker than droughts. The reason it hadn't rained in 3 years is because of a curse. The curse is old. The diviner croaked, her eyes white with trance. "It coils through your bloodline, great chief. Only a daughter, born not of desire but of sacrifice, can summon the rain. She will not be a child of flesh, but of spirit and storm." Mugodo bowed his head. And so that very night, the chief went alone into the sacred forest, the place where only spirits walked. He carried nothing but his voice and a single gourd of water. There, under the baobab tree that reached for the stars, he called to the gods and promised them his legacy, his firstborn child, his own peace, his very name. Lightning struck, the trees screamed, and 9 moons later, Modjadji was born. She did not cry like other babies. She wept in silence, and the winds outside howled for her. By the time she was 5, strange things began to happen. One day, a bird dropped dead at her feet. She bent to touch it. When her tears splashed its feathers, it stirred and flew away. Another time, she was found sleepwalking in the sacred forest, murmuring to the trees in a tongue the elders hadn't heard in generations. The Sangomas gathered. "She is the vessel," one whispered. "No," said another. "She is the storm itself." At 7, she was forbidden to play with other children. Her path was now ritual and silence. She was taught the language of the ancestors, the taste of roots that called thunder, and the dances of summoning. But Modjadji didn't rebel. She watched the clouds, she listened to the trees, she spoke to the wind as if it were kin. The year she turned 15, the worst drought in memory choked the land. Children dug holes in the riverbed, licking the mud for moisture. Women wailed, men argued. There was no hope. This was the worst that had ever happened in the land. Modjadji stood before the people in silence. Then she whispered, "Prepare the sacred forest." That night, thousands gathered under the moonlight. Drums beat like war. Smoke from sacred herbs rose into the sky. Modjadji emerged, barefoot, body painted in ash and clay, eyes like storm clouds. She raised her hands. "I speak to you, Mother Sky. I, your daughter, summon your tears. Let your sorrow fall and cleanse your children." The ground shook. Thunder rolled in the distance. The women began to dance. The men dropped to their knees. And then, a single drop, then 2, then the heavens broke. Rain felt like laughter. The trees drank, the river screamed back to life, and the people danced until dawn. Modjadji had become the rain queen. News of her power swept across kingdoms. One day, a messenger arrived from the south. He was lean, bruised, and trembling. "I bring words from Shaka Zulu, king of kings, master of spears. He demands the rain queen's loyalty." The elders gasped. Modjadji only said, "Loyalty cannot be determined by who demands it. Loyalty must be earned." Shaka sent warriors, 300 strong. They stormed the forest, but the trees would not let them pass. Roots called like serpents, winds lashed like whips. Many fled, some vanished. The rest knelt and begged for forgiveness. Modjadji sent back a gift, a god of rainwater sealed with her loyal sigil. Shaka opened it and rain fell upon his crowd in the middle of dry season. He never tested her again. But not all loved her. Mallory, her cousin born of a lesser wife, grew jealous. He called her a witch, a fraud. He whispered poison into the ears of the young warriors. The rain is a trick, he sneered. She hides charms in the forest. Let us burn it. Let us see what her power is made of. One night, they all crept into the forest and they burnt it. The trees screamed. The spirits wailed. Modjadji woke. She screamed. Her body shook violently. Blood ran from her nose. And she collapsed. But before she blacked out, she whispered, "Let the forest protect itself." A whirlwind of fire and ash rose from the forest. Mallory's men were swallowed whole. Only ashes remained. Mallory himself staggered back to the village. His eyes burned white. He wandered the edges of the village until he died, muttering, "The trees, the eyes, she lives in the leaves." Modjadji awoke after 7 days of trance. Her hair had turned silver, but the forest stood still. When the Ingwane raiders crossed the river and demanded land, the warriors begged Modjadji for war. She shook her head. A blade cuts only flesh, rain cuts the soul. She went alone to their camp. The raiders mocked her. She brings no weapons, no warriors. What will she do? Cry on us? That night, the clouds gathered. Lightning clawed the sky. A flood rose from the river and drowned their fires. Their leader, choking, fled to the hills. Modjadji returned, untouched. Peace was restored. At the height of her reign, Modjadji ruled not only Limpopo, but the weather itself. She could call mist with a whisper, silence storms with a glance, and read futures in the shape of thunder clouds. She trained her daughter, Zugudini, in secret arts, how to hear the ancestors in the roar of rain, how to walk the sacred forest without leaving footprints, how to call the spirits of the baobabs with a single breath. But Modjadji had one rule: never use rain for pride. Water blesses, it does not boast. Then came the strangers, the white skins, with thunder sticks and lies. They came smiling, offering salt, mirrors, and guns. But they wanted land, they wanted power, they wanted Modjadji's secret. One missionary named Father Van Dyke wrote, "If we can convert the rain queen, the tribe would follow. If she falls, so will their faith." He bribed a young acolyte to bring him a piece of her hair. The boy returned pale. "I tried," he whispered, "but when I reached her, she looked at me. I saw the sky, the whole sky, and I could not move." The missionaries built a chapel near the edge of the secret forest. The rain stopped. For months, the land groaned again. The people turned to Modjadji. She stood before the chapel, placed her palm on the wall, and whispered an ancient prayer. Lightning struck it down. The missionaries fled, and then rain returned. Modjadji ruled for many years. Some say 200, others say she never aged. Her hair turned white, her voice grew deeper like thunder rolling over hills. Then one morning, she walked alone into the sacred forest. Her daughter followed, but found only a ring of mist and in it, footprints made of water. Just like that, she was gone. The rain fell that afternoon, soft, persistent, and endless. The Balobedu knew she had become one with the clouds. The legacy of the Rain Queen continues from mother to daughter, generation after generation, each crowned in the mist, each bound by oath to the storm. They say that today, if you stand at the edge of the sacred forest during a heavy rain, you can hear her voice in the thunder. I do not rule with fire or blood. I rule with tears of the sky, and in every drop, I am there.